Speaking at the 69th anniversary celebration public lecture was Dr. Professor Harry Tagbor. In a statement said that there's need for quality education in Ghana in order to build a competent graduate in Ghana school, which will affect sustainability of development initiatives in Ghana.
To everybody, irrespective of age, gender, economic status, or geographical location. It is my view that the pivot around which the 17 Sustainable Development Goals evolve is education. Not just education, but quality education. We must locate issues of inclusiveness and equity within the context of quality education, because the basic school people of today, the SHS student of today, and the university student of today constitute the hope of our country's future. Students represent the backbone of our country's sustainable development. You and I, who work in public and civil service employment as teachers, lecturers, doctors, soldiers, policemen, engineers, accountants, etc., of today, will grow old and retire. It is the students of today who will take over from us. Without ensuring inclusive access to quality education and promoting equity in terms of resource distribution among schools located within the rural, less endowed, and urban endowed geographical divides, there would be challenges getting adequate, competent graduates from our schools to replace us in the various sectors of our nation's economy. This will adversely affect sustainability of our country's development initiative. Reverend Chair, the provision and delivery of quality school education depends largely on rules and regulations. That is because no human institution can be progressive without having rules that govern its operations and regulate its human resource. Simply, rules are principles that regulate the conduct of people and prescribe acceptable and unacceptable behavior necessary for accomplishing an institution's mission. Conclude by arguing strongly that harmonization of school rules is not the way to go. Harmonization of school rules per se does not and will not guarantee inclusive and equitable education for Ghana's sustainable development. School-specific rules must exist alongside macro-level rules formulated by the Ghana Education Service that provide generic rules to guide the operations of schools. What matters most, in my opinion, is that decision-making process becomes engaging and rule implementation is done with fairness and transparency. Without an engagement of stakeholders in the formulation and review of school rules, the principles of inclusion and equity will remain mere rhetorics in our educational system. Let us remember that rules and their enforcement are a necessary evil in the provision of inclusive and equitable education in Ghana, provided education school rulemakers and school rule administrators adopt a more inclusive approach to rule formulation and eschew all forms of discrimination in the application of such school rules. On this note, Reverend Chairman, I end by congratulating you on your 69th anniversary and for running this Foundation Day lecture.
According to the national president, Mr. Kojo Mata, urged the past and current students of Ketasco to understand that they are automatically brand ambassador for the school by the government agenda as a primary investor in education as established public school to accommodate the mass of Ghanaians who cannot afford private schooling.
A social media publication from Joy Prime that rated our 2021 female NSNQ participant, Francisca Lamini, as one of the 7 most popular Ghanaians in 2021. Our current and past students and all other products of Ketasco are automatic brand ambassadors for the school, and will continue to wish you all the best in your various endeavors. I was again humbled when I heard somebody commented that the 3 best schools in the Volta region are number 1, Jolali, number 2, Maoli, number 3, Ketasco. So, Jolali is becoming a school, as Ketasco is a school. So, what will happen is, if Jolali is not number 1, Ketasco should be number 1. We are competing with ourselves. And let us not relent in our quest to be the school of choice and a center of excellence. Our anniversary planning committee chose the theme, Education for Sustainable Development, which is aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 4, aimed at providing quality education for all. This agenda recognizes that every child has the right to access safe and quality education. We recognize the efforts of government and other stakeholders, including management of schools, parents, and civil society organizations to achieve this laudable objective. Government, as the primary investor in education, has established public schools to accommodate the mass of Ghanaians who cannot afford private schooling. Government also implemented the provision of 1 hot meal a day after some research indicated that hunger is one of the factors that keeps learners away from school. Another step taken to eliminate barriers to access to senior secondary school was the introduction of free senior high school education in the country. We acknowledge all the good works that school management, including teaching and non-teaching staff, are doing to keep learners safe in school.
And that's with education. And one of the things that this goal seeks to do is to bring equity and accessibility for all our boys and girls as far as learning and development of the human capital is concerned. I've heard so many good things about this goal. One of it is that now there is so much access for everybody that since this was introduced, and the goal is by 2030, every child should have access to education. I hear the reach to school or accessibility has increased over 91%. Isn't that great? I've also heard that the number of children who were out of school has also reduced by about 50 to 55%. I've also heard that literacy rate has also gone down. And I've heard that successive governments in Ghana have introduced structures and programs to help us achieve this goal of making sure every child has free, compulsory, primary and secondary education, qualitative ones.